No one was injured.
Well, rumors are swirling around another GOP candidate entering the recall election race for California governor. A new report says that Caitlyn Jenner may be making a bid for that governor's seat. Let's talk more about that report. We're joined by William Lajeunesse. And William, it's an interesting thing to hear Caitlyn Jenner talking about putting her name in this race. It's something that she's talked about before in terms of running for political office.
Yeah, Claudine, being a celebrity is going to be a big deal in any election, right? But especially in a recall where fame and name ID can outweigh policy and party. And Jenner, of course, has a very unique story that transcends politics. So a recall, it's like politics in free fall, right? There's no rules, if you will. They kind of go out the door. In 2003 recall, there was 135 candidates on the ballot, from Arnold Schwarzenegger to baseball commissioner Peter Ueberroth. You had actor Gary Coleman, Ariana Huffington, porn star Mary Carey, Larry Flint. Almost anyone with a handful of signatures and a few $1,000s could, quote, say that they ran for governor of California. Jenner is not as famous as Schwarzenegger at the time, but who can claim covers from Wheaties to Vanity Fair? After winning the Olympic gold, remember, in '76, he married Kris Kardashian, led that pop culture life. 19 seasons on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They had about 3 million viewers every evening or every episode. And then in 2015, of course, he came out as a trans woman and starred in another reality show. Last month, she appeared on The Masked Singer and explained, as a trans person, she wanted to stay visible and give others in the LGBTQ community hope and light at the end of the tunnel. Claudine?
Well, it's interesting, though, because on the issue of the transgender community, I've seen a lot of pushback on Twitter because of her support for former President Trump and then her switching of positions in 2018. That it's not as clear as the path. Some people saying, I don't want her to speak for me in the transgender community. What do you think the hot button issues will be for Jenner? She describes herself as a lifelong Republican, an economic conservative, a social liberal. As you mentioned, a crowded field, we would expect. Where do analysts and experts think that she's going to have to kind of, put her money on in terms of this is the issue that makes me unique?
Well, you're right. She was a Trump supporter, not unlike Kevin Faulconer and John Cox. But, in a more crowded field, it's going to be difficult, I think, to differentiate herself other than the obvious. But that celebrity in a crowded field is going to play to her favor, right? And it's going to split the vote even further. And of course, she has a kind of a rags to riches personal story that's going to play very well. She hasn't been very active on Twitter since 2019, but more recently complained about Governor Newsom and his handling of the COVID shutdown. Polls show a majority favor keeping Governor Newsom, but that, of course, is a snapshot in time, right? The state we have a serious drought. We're going to have another season probably of wildfires and possibly blackouts. So I think that's why Jenner is meeting with consultants right now to maybe define exactly who she was going to be or what to emphasize with voters. Claudine?
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned that meeting with political consultants. This news is just breaking now and everyone's kind of swirling, talking about it. I know some people have reached out to some people that she's apparently talking to with not getting a lot of comment. I wonder, in terms of time frame and next steps in terms of, what she will have to do if she decides this is the race I'm actually going to get into and I'm serious about this and I want to move forward.
It's a pretty low bar, right? So it's either $4,200 or 7,000 signatures to declare yourself and qualify for a place on the ballot. So there's going to be 2 elections, as you know. You're going to be, and the state right now is counting signatures. And based on the numbers, we think there's likely going to be a recall election in the fall. And Governor Newsom, of course, has been kind of ubiquitous on TV lately. Last week with Jill Biden, First Lady, and then this week with Kamala Harris. I think the big question now is, do Democrats put all their eggs in one basket behind Governor Newsom and dismiss the recall part of the election? Or do they run someone like billionaire Tom Steyer and then run the risk, of course, of leaving the recall field exclusively to Republicans? That's a big risk, and perhaps Caitlyn Jenner. But right now, we have no confirmation of her entry. That I would like to believe we'd see in a few weeks, but she's got plenty of time because this is going to play out again over the summer before the recall is actually called for. Claudine, back to you.
All right. Well, lots to certainly talk